Okay, so I've got an image and I'm going to show you how I do a few things here. Now, just having a look, if I zoom in, well, firstly, you can see that the image falls to darkness. So just to show you what it was, and then what I can do with it, I can create this lighting effect. So it's an artificial lighting effect. And the next thing I'll do is I'm going to make it so that the center of the image is in focus, but the background falls out of focus. Okay, so these are two relatively straightforward techniques that we can do. And so just showing you what they're going to become. Okay, and if you have a look at my layers, you can sort of see some of the tricks that I've used, but we'll get to that in a moment. So I'll just start this fresh. So I'm just going to, I've got this group of layers, okay, and so there's a few things going on in here. I've put a gradient map on it, and I've also placed a dot screen. So I demonstrated those last week, but I can certainly show you again. Okay. So I've put them into a group of layers, and so we can do that if I've selected or shift clicked and selected multiple layers, I can put them into a group. So it's a really good thing to actually manage your layers by popping them into groups. And so I've done one, and I'm just going to duplicate the group. So just call it that, that's fine. So this way, I've got a backup if I need to. So there's all my layers. And so what I'll do, so I can treat all of these individual layers as one, I'm going to highlight that group. I'll come up to my layer panel options, and I'll merge the group. And here we go. Okay, so here we can see it's now a single image. So anything that I apply to, well, this design is into a flattened layer. So the first thing I'll do is I will create a lighting effect. And we can find that in the window, the filter drop-down menu, and in render. There's a few interesting things here. I haven't used the flame before. Lens flare can do some interesting things. It's good to just sort of have a little bit of time to just go around and try things out. But here I am using the lighting effects. Okay. All right, so we have a look at what we have. So the point light, I think spot comes up as a default. This is generally what it looks like. And so I can move this around. So this is really, really small, but what I want to do is I actually want to enlarge. Whoops. There we are. So I've scaled the length. You can just sort of move it around so you can create this artificial light effect. Move it around. It's moving a bit slower because I'm recording this video, so it does move a bit quicker. And here, so by default, the color is generally white. There we are. Let's just bring it up to white. So you can choose any sort of color. Okay. And just move things around. It's a bit harsh. Okay. So there's a few other settings that I'll be able to play with. Let's move that around. And here we can see the hotspots. So I'm using the slider to increase the area or decrease it. Then we've got things like exposure, which will, don't want to blow out the detail too much. Now the other one that is quite helpful is the ambience. So if I bring that up, you can see that I can affect the fall off of light. Okay, and so I can move my circles. Okay, and so in doing this we can get a lighting effect, and so we can actually treat it like you know, a very low lit room or a candlelight or something. So I can play around with this, and then at the top of my window I've got the OK. And there we have it. Okay. So that has placed a lighting effect. So I can really emphasize a particular part of the composition by you know, directing a light to it. Now the other effect that I was going to show you is putting a blur on it. Now a blur, I'll do it very quickly, not so much the incorrect way, but the way will change. So if I choose a blur, and Gaussian blur usually is my favorite, and you can see I've got the ability to put it out of focus. Okay, so that's an interesting effect if we want to try that, but I actually want to have part of the image, the center of the image, the face of the image, in focus. So what I'll do is I'll choose my marquee tool, okay, and I'll make it into an elliptical marquee, and I'll try 25 pixels. So remember our feathering, it will sort of create a sort of a fade out as opposed to a very sharp point. And I'll just hold my Shift and Option key down. Whoops, don't do that. Okay, get back to it. Shift and Option key. Okay, I might make it a bit bigger than that. So select, deselect. I'm holding down my shift key and there we go. Let's move that around. Okay. And I'll go edit, copy, edit, paste. And so what I have is a layer which has the part that I want to keep in focus, and it's on the back layer, the bottom layer, that I'll put that blur. So it should fall off out of focus. There we go. And so we can sort of push things around, and so we get this fall off of focus. Okay, if we have a look at it, well, we're hiding the copied layer. Okay, so there's just a very, very quick demonstration with the lighting effects as well as the playing with the blur filter. Okay.